Here we have a perfect example of a YouTube made me buy it scent. I don't think I've got any other Lattafas. I'm not sure if I've even ever tried a Lattafa before. But this one, I have seen it compared multiple times to By the Fireplace by Maison Martin Margiela's replica collection. Now, that's a perfume that I like the idea of it. There are elements I like about it, but the very deep dry down is a very sweet vanilla that I find a bit sickly. It's not really my kind of vanilla. There's something about it that didn't sit very well on my skin, specifically that vanilla. But I quite enjoyed the smoky woodiness of it. I kind of liked the chestnut, I kind of liked the vibe of it. It just didn't really work for me because I didn't like the vanilla, and I found that by the time it had dried down, it was basically a slightly woody vanilla, like a very, very, very sweet vanilla. So this one was described as not being quite as vanilla heavy and not quite as sweet, slightly different, but like a good alternative to that. And obviously it's an absolute bargain as well. So I think this was from Amazon for about £15. This is Ameer Al Oud Intense Oud by Lattafa. It's 100ml. It's eau de parfum. It's an absolute beast. Very heavy glass bottle, and I really don't like this. This is a disaster for me. It's one of the worst disasters you can imagine, because if you've watched my videos before, you will know that I have a real problem with a lot of kind of synthetic wood that's in perfumes. And the most recent example that was in, every single one of the perfumes that had a wood note smelt like disgusting kind of burnt, plasticky, synthetic horribleness. And that was all the Zara perfumes. So I basically just can't wear Zara perfumes because it seems to be what they use. It's kind of cropped up in so many perfumes recently. There's like an Avon one that I just tried that also dries down into this same smell. And now obviously this is like a £15 perfume. It's really cheap. So there's no way that the oud in it is real. It's not real oud. I've smelt real oud, and although it's often a bit too strong for me, it doesn't smell the way this does. It doesn't have that kind of burnt smell that I really don't like. And what's been very helpful though is that I had a look at the reviews for this, and someone literally used the word tar, and I was like, that's what it is. That is exactly what it is. There's a certain type of synthetic wood that I perceive, and I know that not everyone gets this by any means. So if you don't have a problem with, if you can wear Zara perfumes, if you can wear like Fields at Nightfall by Zara and you don't have a problem with it, you probably won't perceive this the way that I do. But it smells like the black tar that they use on roads in the UK. I don't know if that's got a specific name. I assume I don't know if it's like coal tar, maybe. But it's like a burnt rubber, weird smell. And that's what I get with a certain type of synthetic wood that sometimes is described as cedarwood, sometimes it's sandalwood, but they both smell like that to me. They both smell like tar. And one of the other ones I got in was Jessica Simpson's Vintage Bloom, the one that people say smell like a lemon cake, and then all I could smell basically was, now I can refer to it in a way that might make sense, tar. This is pure tar. So this is supposed to be caramelly, sweet, smoky wood. To me, it's pure tar. And the notes listed here are top notes of woodsy notes and agar wood, which is oud, middle notes vanilla and sugar, base notes agar wood, sandalwood and herbal notes. Now I do get some sugar and I do get some vanilla, but definitely I'd say, like, if we're comparing this to By the Fireplace is very rich It's very smoky, like actual smoke at the beginning when you first spray it. Then it dries down and you get this kind of powdery chestnut smell, and then it gets increasingly vanilla-y, and that kind of smokiness really calms down, and then you end up with basically a slightly woody, rich, very sweet vanilla. Now for me, if that vanilla had been taken down a few notches, then I would have really liked By the Fireplace, and I probably would have bought it. It does not smell synthetic, it doesn't smell like tar, it's got a nice natural wood smell about it, and the smokiness I think is, although in the beginning it's like really in your face, it doesn't last, it doesn't stay that smoky the whole way through. This one, when I first spray it, I can smell the sugariness. It's definitely not as vanilla-y, but from the bottle I can smell the tar-like wood. From the so from the nozzle I can smell it. On first spray I could smell it so strongly by the time that I actually let it dry down. And this is on card. There is not, I would not in a million years put this on my skin, because even like trying out the Avon one that has that, you know, and they're weak perfumes, it makes me feel so ill, and it's so hard to get off. So I just, oh no it's pure tar. And the thing is, this is a bit gutted as well, because I kind of thought to myself, this one might end up being a bit too woody, leaning a bit too masculine for me, and then I'd be able to give it to my husband, because I thought this would actually be a pretty cool present for Christmas, because like it's got a kind, it's supposed to be a little bit like By the Fireplace, and everyone's like, oh, that's such a good Christmas perfume. But this, I would never want to smell this on him, because I can't imagine this would smell anything. I mean, I don't think this is a skin chemistry thing. This is how I perceive that certain type of synthetic wood. It purely smells like tar. It's not just on my skin. I can smell it on card, I can smell it in the bottle. I definitely don't want to smell him smelling like tar. It's just very upsetting for me. I really am gutted, because I can see that if you don't get that problem, this is probably smelling really good, it's probably really nice, but just a warning that everyone talks about this on YouTube, you know, everyone talks about it on YouTube. There's a lot of very positive reviews. If you are like me and you don't like the smell of some synthetic woods, and you think things smell like tar, and you've got certain perfumes that you recognise have that in, avoid this at all costs, because that is almost all this is. It is tar, wood and sugar. That's what this smells like to me. I don't think it's even particularly vanilla-y. It's not smoky. It doesn't smell anything like By the Fireplace, I would say. And I don't really think they're trying to make it smell like By the Fireplace, because the notes don't match up with it at all. So I don't think they're going for By the Fireplace. I think they're going for a sweet, woody smell. And that is what this is. I just cannot abide it. So it's definitely not for me. But like I said, if you don't have that problem at all, £15 for like a sweet, woody autumn winter smell, absolute bargain if you don't have that same problem. And judging from the reviews, there's many people who don't have that problem. There's so many people who love Zara perfumes, and all the ones I've seen reviewed, they've never mentioned that it has like a synthetic kind of tar smell to it. But for me, they are just unbearably tar-like. I mean, the Fields at Nightfall was like genuinely horrific to me, like horrific. And if you don't have that problem, you won't have a problem with this, I shouldn't imagine. So, do you know, I sometimes realize you can see me gesticulating madly in the shadow on my wall. But anyway, I do tend to move my hands a lot when I talk. But yeah, so this is just going to have to go up on eBay. It's not one I'm going to keep, because I genuinely think it's horrible. But not because I think it's a horrible perfume, but because I perceive that kind of wood, which again certainly isn't real oud, because that would cost a fortune. So this is just not for me, because my nose does not appreciate it one little bit.